One of the things I want to talk to you about, because I think I'm always using you as a model artist. I
Oh,
think, yeah, for everything, I'm like, oh, wait, but Cam did it like this. Cam does it like this. Or, people play their music for me on TikTok and then I play a Cam record.
thank
So I want people to really get from you, like, how you, like, you're an independent artist and you've been able to, like, really, like, you've done everything, not your whole to-do list, but your quality of music is insane to be an independent artist. And you're just on a whole nother level. I always tell you this, like, you are literally my top five
thank you.
best artists of all time. Like, I think you're literally just up there with all the great people. You're so multifaceted, like, just everything about you. You're just an ideal artist. And I think every artist can really learn from Kam Franklin. Like, and
Yes,
I'm always using you as like, listen to Cam's record, then go back and listen to your record. Like, this is just the best example I can give you guys.
that's really sweet. Thank you.
Girl, and every time I play your song, they love it. They're
Thank you.
like,
Look, I'm always just grateful to anybody that takes the time to listen, but it is a testament, I think, to what my band is capable of when we're given that opportunity for people to just hear what we can do rather than see a photo like that. I feel like that's the music industry these days is let me see what they look like
yeah.
first rather than or let me see their streaming numbers first rather
Mhm.
than let me see what they sound like or let me go see them live and see what type of show they can perform.
Exactly. Okay, so for people who may not know you,
Yeah.
so let's just go back. You've been doing music since you were young. I mean, I've seen you in pictures at school, auditions. How
I
did you get
got
started?
started in the church. Church. I mean, shoot, I got started at 5 years old singing gospel at my church in Houston. Um, really just being surrounded by singers that were just next level every week. And I think anybody that truly grows up in a Southern, I wouldn't say Southern Baptist, I'd say missionary Baptist church, a predominantly Black uh, Baptist Southern church that gives big importance and care to the music direction. Um, they will tell you that some of the best singers you'll hear every week are accountants and lawyers and nurses and teachers, and they have no interest in this scammy ass industry. They want to be they want consistency, they want stability, they want a 401k, they want to know that their bills are going to be paid. This industry is not for the weak. And I will also say, like, independent major, indie major, no matter how you are in this, it's very hard for everybody. And,
Mhm.
for myself, I started at age 5, surrounded by all these amazing singers, but being surrounded by all those greats, right? It made me feel like I would never feel that great. And,
Mm.
it took me so many years to acknowledge the fact that, yes, I can actually sing. I knew that I always wanted to be in music and I knew that like I could keep tune and do these things, but I was so obsessed with just, well, how can I get a solo? How can I, get to the level of like Destiny's Child, or how can I,
Mhm.
go beyond Disney or whatever? I just wanted a career in music, no matter what, and I wasn't sure how to do it, and so. Uh, at a young age, I want to say like 12, 13, 14, I thought my shit was over. I thought my whole career was over because I hadn't been signed yet. And,
Wow.
I'm 14. I had just moved from this art school in Houston called Carver down to League City, Texas,
Uh-huh.
because my mom and I needed to move and get to the school that's, predominantly white. I'm in the suburbs. I'm dealing with a lot of isms that I'd never dealt with before. I'm in an environment where previously the way I sang was considered a gift and considered, the best. Like, I'd been surrounded by so much love and so much support to then go into an environment where, I was considered average. even though I knew I wasn't, and
Mm-hmm.
was just kind of told a lot of negative. Like it was almost like my artistry was always met with negative reinforcement before assuredness. And it got to a point as I got older now, I meet so many people who are in our industry whose kids, have amazing opportunities to go to these amazing art schools and programs, and then they end up dropping out of music because of how abusive their
Mm.
programs are, their leadership is. And that's not to say that everybody's like that or all instructors are like that, but I ended up leaving my choral program at my high school because it was so, like, it was just too much to deal with the personality
Mm-hmm.
of my professors. And at that time, that's when I started sitting in with bands, punk bands, R&B bands, any band in the city that would let me on their stage. I was there because that to me was opening the door. I knew nothing about our industry aside from the few movies I'd seen and a bunch of books that I had read, right? A lot of artists' biographies. And I knew that I needed to make sure that I kept my hands to myself and whoever I was working with did the same, that I kept my nose and all these other things out of trouble, and that I focused on just being the best singer and best performer that I possibly could be. And so I want to say for the last 20 years, before the last 10, because my career really didn't pop off until 2015, from
Mm-hmm.
from 2005, which is when I graduated high school and really started performing in the clubs. I really just spent all that time learning from my friends, other artists, everyone around me. Well, I joined the Suffers, the band I've been in the last 14 years, in 2011, as what was supposed to be a side project. We were supposed to perform soulful covers of uh, songs you never really heard, but with like reggae and ska and rocksteady elements thrown into it. And it just got really popular, really fast, and it took over my life. And we had this opportunity in 2015 to play the last few weeks of David Letterman, and quit our jobs, went on tour, and that pretty much kickstarted the career that I have right now. And the last, excuse me, I'd say 7 to 8 years,
Mm-hmm.
I have been shifting my focus from only focusing on the art to almost hyper focusing on the business and
Mm-hmm.
collaborative and networking side of what we do. Um, I feel like it's a part of our industry where we will never stop learning because it's
Mm-hmm.
evolving, especially with the new ways that we can make and release music through AI and all of these new platforms and distribution companies. But more than anything, I am so focused on just expanding my empire and my career in the ways that I'm able to not only create revenue streams, but create creative avenues that keep me happy, because
Mm-hmm.
I've already accepted the fact that as an indie artist, I will not likely ever see some of these crazy places that some of my more popular peers are
Mm-hmm.
able to see and achieve. Um, I do believe that there's a path for all of us, and that I am on the one meant for me. And it's paved not only with very and special moments and incredible intentions, but the lessons that I've been able to achieve within my career, I share with just about everybody.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out ways to be more transparent about the
Yeah.
low that I go through, because
Yeah.
I do share a lot of the highs. I do share a lot of what's going on because it's just a part. Oh, a show's coming up. Oh, a show's coming
Yeah.
up. And a lot of people don't want to be bummed out by what's happening in
Yeah.
artist's personal life. But at the
Ex-
same time, when it comes to like just what it is to exist as an artist, I think it's worth it to share that part sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth it to share the realities
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. And so right now, I'm outside of all the music and everything else that I do and production and whatnot. I've been slowly working on a book that makes a lot of what I do more basic and clear,
Uh-huh.
to a lot of artists. I just wrapped up a Kickstarter campaign for my solo record. And, I had quite a few friends reaching out like, hey, um, how do you get started on it?
Mm-hmm.
How do you do this? I want to do something like this. And, with most of the people that I asked, I had to tell them, hey, pause, first of all, and ask yourself a few questions like,
Mm-hmm.
have a fan base, because what you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to do is start the engine on something like that before you have a way to contact everybody in your life. Like, I spent months just having conversations about this Kickstarter before I ever typed the word
Mm-hmm.
Kickstarter on any of my public platforms. I did not want it. I wanted it to be like, oh, this is big news. This is a big event, and I'm gonna need a lot of fucking help. Excuse my language, but
Yeah.
I'm a lot of help. And
Yeah.
um, I needed it to be a call to action. I don't want a homie that's really just getting started or really just like in an early stage of their career to be like, I need $100,000 or I need,
Mm-hmm.
50K, 25, whatever. Anything more than say $100,
Mm-hmm.
maybe they don't have that. Like if you don't have 10 friends or 10 fans or even 10 songs online, how are you going to achieve that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I had to tell some of them like, be realistic. If you know you've been doing this for a long time, boom, you're already ahead of the curve. How do you access your fans? Are you only dependent on Instagram or Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you are, do you have money to pay to access all your fans right now? Because that's the
Mm-hmm.
only way they're going to let you see everything, right?
Yeah.
Do you have an email list? Do you have these type of things? And so it's been a lot of like educating homies on, the basics of how to do something
Mm-hmm.
like this for themselves, because I think it should be more accessible. Like
Yeah.
you have a network of people that really believe in you. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
Arnaecia, and I'm I've already gotten this type of funding
Mm-hmm.
for X, Y, and Z, and I'm on
Mm-hmm.
the last part of da 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 da. I know that your mind is going to probably function a lot differently than your average
Mm-hmm.
music industry or musician because of your background.
Yeah.
But just using your company as an example, like because of the work you did in your previous
Yeah.
life, it would be night and day compared to
Mm-hmm.
say, you fresh out of college,
Mm-hmm.
tax,
Mm-hmm.
no job history, no proof of what you've done
Yep.
to be like, hey, I need $100,000 to launch this visionary
Yeah.
company. Do you believe in me?
Yeah.
You know, this campaign for me was 45 days. I did a lot of things that I was told not to do.
Uh-huh.
Uh, like, for example, I was told not to have it be 45 days. I was told that was too long. But
Mm.
also, I thought about it from the perspective of 45 days gives me about 4 pay dates to,
Uh-huh.
to help homies,
Come
right?
on now.
And it gives me one more day after everybody's rent's due to try
Come
to
on.
help. And a lot of my following are single people or single parents, divorced people, people just trying to really make it happen. And also a lot of people that, they're the complete opposite, but they are budgeting as people and they
Mm-hmm.
really need to plan for something like this, even if they
Mm-hmm.
want help. And, I did a lot of my own research and just made a lot of choices that I felt would make sense for me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's pretty much where I'm at now. And right now I'm in a very exciting but terrifying time period where it's like, oh, let me make sure my liner notes are right. Let me make sure
Mm-hmm.
my photos are right. Let me make sure that I'm not over budgeting, because my career right now as a solo artist is not the same as my band. I'm not going to have the same
Yeah.
budget as a band that's been
Yeah.
established for 14 years, right?
Yeah.
I'm also not, I'm doing this alone. And so right now, there's not a distribution partner. There's not a lot of the things that would make
Yeah.
this easier. And so I'm taking the reins and I'm
Uh-huh.
driving the ships all the way you want to say it.
Uh-huh.
And as scary as it is, I'm excited to be on this side of it next year with my record in my hand to
Yeah.
be like, I did what needed to happen to make this baby come out.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important because I know so few women personally that look like me. I know a bunch of women that look like me in our industry, right?
Yeah.
But I can probably count on both hands, maybe, the number of women that I know that have released physical records
Yeah.
independently that
Mm-hmm.
look like me. So few. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of our people are told not to release albums physically. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
just release on Spotify. But they don't even pay you a penny a stream.
Yeah.
Why would you not tell a fellow artist, hey,
Mm-hmm.
homie, hey, friend, hey, potential collaborator, maybe you don't have the 5 to 10K that it takes
Mm-hmm.
to release physical vinyl, or maybe I don't have the 1K
Yeah.
to 500 maybe it takes to release CDs. Maybe
Yeah.
together or with a friend and a little bit of agreement work on a
Yeah.
paperwork. It doesn't have to be a long contract, just hey, whatever comes from this, all three of us split it or whatever y'all decide. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
many artists don't do the math because we're not taught the math. Hey, Arnaecia, if you and your artist spend $8,000 to get 1,000 units of a vinyl record
Mm-hmm.
made independently, you can sell those 1,000 units for $40 each. What's
Mm-hmm.
1,000 times 40?
Mm-hmm.
Where the money comes from.
Yep. 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 Exactly.
Want to try to convince us that I had a label once upon a time that should not be known, doesn't matter. Tell me and my team that vinyl records were a novelty when we told them how we wanted to get them printed through them. And I said, vinyl records helped pay for this last tour. Vinyl
Yeah.
records kept the gas tank full. Vinyl records helped pay for the flights
Come
because
on.
they hadn't released vinyl through their label since the end of vinyl's popularity. They
Oh.
missed, they missed the recent Forbes article that had come out
Mm-hmm.
and said for the first time in almost 2 decades, vinyl
Mm-hmm.
records are outselling
Oh
CD.
yeah.
And now it's not even an argument. Color vinyl's back. Oh,
Uh-huh.
did you get Cowboy Carter on vinyl?
Uh-huh.
Did you get, oh, your faves are out on vinyl? I got the freaking D'Angelo Voodoo when that came out. I was like, let's go. Let's go spend our $40 because I need to be able to study. If the hurricanes take out the internet and we just got a little bit of power, I at least have my vinyl records, right?
Uh-huh.
Um,
Exactly.
like,
Exactly.
and now that it's becoming very apparent how much Spotify is starting to actually rob artists and
Yeah.
similar to the United States government using that revenue to go into war profiteering, whether you believe it
Mm-hmm.
or not, no matter what side of this argument
Yep.
you're on, I know that if you're an artist and you're not an artist that's on one of those big major indie deals that Spotify signed on to early, what
Mm-hmm.
the fuck? That right there should be illegal in my mind, but who am I, right? Who am I?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just think that it's not being taken seriously enough by many artists. So many artists don't realize how much we're being scammed. We're
Mm-hmm.
not taught. What is that? Don't play for free for exposure, right? Unless
Mm-hmm.
unless it really makes sense, unless it matters. And right now, I feel like that's the point that Spotify's gotten to. I feel
Yeah.
like it's an exposure platform,
Yeah.
and it's very predatory at this point
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
every time I've ever made money from Spotify, it's not been from streaming. It's
Yeah.
been from an event, it's been from a specialty thing,
Mm-hmm.
something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with
Mm-hmm.
somebody at Spotify would probably think, oh, she should be more grateful or blah 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 blah, or why
Mm-hmm.
hasn't this happened? Fuck you, I'm gonna get my reparation that you owe
Yeah.
me and all these other artists. Thank you
Yeah.
for what you owe me, respectfully.
Yeah.
But I think that it's important to take note that without proper education,
Mm-hmm.
people just go along, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think many, many, many things in history involve a lot of that. Involve people
Mm-hmm.
going along because they think, oh, this is what it's always been. Well, this is
Yep.
what it's always
It's
been.
how it's always been. Mm-hmm.
And then you
Exactly.
wonder why you don't get to see or benefit from the change that you
Yeah.
so deeply beg for.
Yeah.
Whether it's minimum wage or something like a penny a stream.
Uh-huh.
Now we're
Yeah.
seeing things being talked about like a musician's minimum wage act
Yeah.
here, and over here people are like, that sounds weird, that sounds foreign. Meanwhile, every fucking artist that I know that's for real on the
Uh-huh.
fucking artists over in Europe,
Yeah.
they didn't go through any of this during COVID.
Uh-uh. No, no, you're right. Well, I want to go back to how you said like you wanted to be signed by like 14. Like you were kind of
I
like,
didn't know
how am I not
anything.
signed? You had high standards, Cam,
Because
very
I had
early.
the same birthday as Prince. That's why. Because I grew up with a father who was a musician and a singer and a creative, and a mother who was also a creative photographer, poet. And, they were a generation that was told to get to work, get to work, have babies, be good Black people, and carry on.
Yeah.
I am their first generation free Black girl,
Yeah.
oldest child that is literally allowed to do whatever I want, and I don't take it very lightly. And
Yeah.
there's a big legacy attached to that for me mentally. That
Mhm.
dreams keep going, and
Yeah.
so as an independent, as a Black woman, as an artist, I know what it takes at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Told you I read all these books. Like, it
Mhm.
wasn't just like, oh, I read a few books. No, I grew up in that last generation of, we're going to punish you by making you go to the library,
Uh-huh.
punish you by making you read. Whatever your interest is, that's what you're doing. You're
Uh-huh.
not interacting because you're causing chaos. Because I was. And books saved me. These authors saved me, but also reading about artists like Prince who didn't trust these labels, wondering why he had slave written on his face. What does that
Mhm.
mean? What's going on? What's a label? What's a master? Hearing about the why as a child, I thought we were going back into slavery because I didn't understand what it meant.
Mhm.
I was so cautious. Also, watching the Five Heartbeats so many times. That
Yeah.
something wrong. There was something wrong. And so it took me a while to like calm down and like trust people in our industry. But coming from watching and reading and all of that, coming up in Houston, dealing with rappers, some that respected me wholeheartedly and have been
Mhm.
kind and wonderful, others who scammed me and tried to abuse me and get over on me.
Mhm.
Like, it is something that almost formed a permanent chip on my shoulder that I
Mhm.
had to like really work through, especially during COVID, because
Mhm.
during that time we all had to pivot, right? We had to
Yeah.
figure out what it meant. So during COVID, I learned how to video edit. I learned how audio works. I learned
You
how
were playing the guitar?
I learned guitar, and I learned how to become a better producer, bandmate, daughter, and friend. And
Mhm.
it's something that I'm trying to put into everything I do now, where I've been thinking so much about what community means to me,
Yeah.
what giving things back without uh, necessarily needing anything in return is
Mhm.
like, whether that's advice, time, money, whatever, and really leaning into that. Um, Reconsidering what service means to me,
Yeah.
and really respecting myself as
Mhm.
a really good service worker,
Mhm.
knowing that
Mhm.
however it is I'm showing up wholeheartedly. I'm there to contribute. I'm
Yeah.
there to learn and listen. I'm there uh, to provide my time.
Mhm.
As a younger woman, and actively recovering people pleaser, I had
Yeah.
to learn the hard way
Mhm.
in so many ways why we do the things we do, how we do them.
Yes.
Like, shit, right now I'm going through uh the consequences of learning uh the fines you can get if you don't
Uh,
do proper what is it? ATA carnet tariff
yeah.
uh
Yep.
when traveling internationally.
Yep.
I like what? I was like $4,000 fine. What?
Uh-huh.
But then I
Uh-huh. Crazy.
glory to God for being booked and busy that it hurts and it stings, but I still get to eat and pay my bills this month,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
it's not lost on me, but I think also about all of the things that are happening right now,
Mm-hmm.
about how is this next generation of artists, specifically emerging artists and independent artists, how are they supposed to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Getting rid of so many things. And
Yeah.
it's like I watched something earlier about an artist, what's his name? Pink Beard. Have you heard of this guy?
Oh, yeah, I've heard of him.
He's a black country artist with a pink beard. Very
Uh-huh.
very funny. Very the songs are fun. They're like playful country
Yeah.
trap, but he's a very smart songwriter and he's a very smart man and
Mm-hmm.
good content creator also. And so, or I'll say we'll just say artist. I hate calling artists content,
Yeah.
but who the content that he chooses to share on his Instagram is done really really well. And he was just talking about how people don't want to talk about politics or making things political, and just kind of talking about how he doesn't want Nazis as fans and going into his reasoning why. I have been more so talking about the overall ecosystem of the
Yeah.
music industry that's not being taken very seriously right
Yeah.
now. Like in the thick of all these major artists having really wonderful moments, which I
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed watching because I'm a fan at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I need bigger artists to step up for NPR,
Mm-hmm.
much
Yeah.
bigger artists, because I have my career, the Suffers have our career
Yeah.
really heavily to thank because of NPR, NPR Tiny Desk, all of these independent college, non-commercial radio
Yeah.
stations around the country that have played,
Mm-hmm.
and not just us, so many larger bands. And I've been
Mm-hmm.
trying to sound the alarm. I'm gonna assume that at some point somebody's gonna put something together to raise
Yeah.
money, and these artists will step up in their capacity. But I'm very much so on some fuck it, I'll do it. I'm going to like
Yeah.
I have risked a lot throughout my career by speaking up about things like this.
Yeah.
And when I talk about the overall ecosystem of the music industry being impacted by NPR and these stations that play us, think about the number of stations that play music like us.
Mm-hmm.
It is very, very small.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just artists like us. One of the biggest no, I'm not gonna call people out. I'm not gonna call anybody out because I think it's unnecessary, and I think it doesn't encourage people to step up.
Yeah.
I've done it in the past, and I regret nothing when it's come to calling people out. However, I think that people are being complacent
Yeah.
and that people are expecting other people to just come and save them when
Yeah.
it's no, babe. we,
Yeah.
got,
Yeah.
we have to save ourselves, because if the independent artists aren't there, it's
Yeah.
just it's just going to be the same
Yeah.
teenagers deciding who gets to show up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when
Mm-hmm.
you think about that, the last few years, we wouldn't have so many artists out here, you know, if we didn't have the capacity in which we do to release now. And
Mm-hmm.
like, well, you can do this and you can do that, and it's like right now, the internet
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right now, all this
Yeah.
information is free right now.
Yeah.
We're taking things for granted. And, I just think about it all. I think about how little Black people, specifically Black female artists, were booked on music festivals, major
Mm-hmm.
festivals, and not just on the festival in a whole. I'm talking by a specific day,
Mm-hmm.
one person a day, a couple Black people, like I was
Yeah.
thinking about this before 2020. And then after 2020, we saw a little bit of an uptick, right? And then this last year, a lot of the festivals are back on their old bullshit. And it's
Yeah.
not Black people that I notice it. I also notice it specifically with women, Black women, Latinas, Asian artists. It's just the smallest you'll
Yeah.
see all the time. And then they'll lie and say, well, we're just not out there, or oh, we're just not that successful, or oh, there's just
Yeah.
not interest there. And it's like,
Uh-huh.
So I mean, I've been talking about that topic specifically since
Yeah.
2016, just how underbooked we all are.
Hmm.
Talk about the wealth gap, that's even crazier. You know,
Yeah. The wealth gap is so large. So you probably already know this because you're like very in tuned. But how does necessarily with the music industry, okay, this is 2025, 2030, we're in the middle of a booming decade with the music industry financially,
yeah,
right? So the revenue is crazy, like tripling, doubling. By 2030, the reports are, and I think that we're actually going to go beyond this number,
yeah,
131 billion 2030, right? That's a huge decade of growth that we are in. We're right here at 5 years in. We're right in the middle of it right now as we speak. Right now, who is participating in that growth
yeah,
are the top percent of people in the music industry.
absolutely.
90% of independent artists, according to most of the data out there, earn $1,000 or less a year from working in the industry. They're working full time.
Sorry,
Typically,
can you say the percentage again?
yeah, 90% of independent artists are earning $1,000 or less annually, not a month,
And
annually.
I don't doubt it. I
And
do
they're
doubt
working
it.
and they're working full time. Typically, they're working at least 30 hours a week toward their music career,
Yeah,
right?
work all
For an
day.
industry that is not giving nothing back to them,
Yeah,
right? So, with methods like what we're doing right now with the app, is like getting artists closer to the economic mobility, at least providing some key infrastructure. Because if you cannot tap into that growth, that money's still going to be made.
yeah,
But artists have to be tapped into that growth because I think that's the most unfair thing. Because you spoke about the wealth gap, and I'm just like, that is the thing that I think most people are not really paying attention to. That 90% of artists will never tap into this huge growth that we're about to have in 5 years. And that's so important to me. And this is why I want artists to really learn from you and your story, because it has so many things that have to happen for you to tap into that growth. But one of the things I think that you have that a lot of artists are trying to find out is like the quality. As an independent artist, it's a lot easier now to make quality records. But I think, like you say, you had those high standards from since you were a kid. Like I think somehow that translated into how you make music today. It's such a quality way.
thank you. Um, I think a lot of it is just learning and
Mhm.
asking for help, and moving on. Like I'm not big on staying with the same producer every record. I'm not that type of
Mhm.
artist. Like, no offense to any artist that works that way. I'm a Gemini. I need to move.
Mhm.
Need to,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
also I need to be able to learn, like to know I'm learning by applying it on my own. Because
Mhm.
as an independent artist, at the end of the day, the thing that matters the most is going to be your P&L, your profit and your loss. And so
Mhm.
I want to make sure that what I'm spending, my overhead, is not drowning me.
Mhm.
And the only way that that can happen most of the time, especially if I'm the type of artist that I'll have another idea, I have idea, I have idea, I have idea, and I want to finish them all. And
Mhm.
I've had to learn the hard way that I don't have a zillion dollars, so
Mhm.
but I do have a big mind. I have all the things I learned in school, reading, writing, all these things. I say this because you never know who's watching your video, right?
Mhm.
I apply all of my English class stuff, all of the
Yeah.
things that I learned to
Uh-huh.
grant writing applications. A lot
Yeah.
of people ask me where my money comes from. In addition to the shows,
Yeah.
I apply for a lot of grants. I get
Mhm.
rejected for a lot of grants.
Mhm.
Last year, or no, this year, this is 2025. 2024 to 2025 has been my most heavily rejected grant year ever,
Uh-huh.
where I've been rejected for, I want to say, almost 36 grants this year, but
Mm-hmm.
applied for even more, and I've
Yeah.
got a few. And sometimes it just takes one
Yeah.
to take care of a project or to help
Yeah.
out. And funding sometimes comes from other places. I apply for a lot of local stuff, and I tell them,
Mm-hmm.
if you live in a major city, maybe like mid-major, as like
Mm-hmm.
Houston, Dallas, Chicago, New York's what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean by major, mid-major, like Tulsa, St. Louis.
Yeah.
Um, Most of these cities are going to have some type of
Yeah.
art programs, depending on your zip code that you can apply for. I live in
Mm-hmm.
Houston, and luckily here we have a bunch of different programs that you're not automatically qualified for, but programs that are worth applying to that range from $1,000 to
Yeah.
sometimes 15 to $20,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I've applied for 3 of those grants over the last 7 years, and they've allowed me to make 3 albums, that I otherwise would not have been able to make by myself, thanks to the use
Yeah.
of. But
Mm-hmm.
right now, this last year, I didn't get any of them, but all the work, all the shows, all of the online thing, I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
with my manager, this might be the time to do the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And I then sent it to my most this is the thing. Ask the most judgmental friends in your life, the friends with opinions. Don't ask them for don't give them your ideas. Like, don't,
Yeah.
those aren't the friends you tell your ideas to. But when you trying to like announce something
Uh-huh.
and they're your biggest, like maybe not your biggest haters, but they're just like life's biggest haters,
Yeah.
ask these people for their advice.
Uh-huh.
And one of my friends that are just like, she's just always has an opinion like this. She was like, well, I don't think you asking for enough money. This is
Uh-huh.
a lot. And I was like, because at first I had it at 10K on my Kickstarter. And she was like, I'm just saying, you're not asking for enough money. And she was right. And she's like, knowing everybody, shit, I'll give you more. Just tell us what you actually need.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. When you start getting the help that you need or you start meeting the people that are willing to help for real with what you need, with the money that you can trust, and it's coming from an ethical place, tell them the real number, and don't be afraid to tell people what you really need, because that's the hardest part, I think, in this independent stuff. People being afraid of being cringe, people being afraid of asking for too much. I'm like, shoot, everybody in our industry is asking at the end of the day somebody for a favor. You got
Yeah.
a record
Yeah.
deal, you asking an artist for a favor to create some art on the
Yep.
chance that they can make something so amazing it can make everyone at that label money
Yeah.
by the
Yeah.
office work that the label does and the boots on
Mm-hmm.
the ground work
Yeah.
too,
What
right?
what would you say? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, that's it.
What would you say? You mentioned your manager.
Hmm.
For everybody who don't know, because this is one of the biggest things that independent artists struggle with, right? Where they're like, it's only me. I don't have an
Yeah.
insider who
Oh,
has
yeah.
access. What does your formal team look like, and your, if you have one, an informal, unofficial team look like
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well?
yeah, yeah. And I mean, honestly, I can speak on it from both sides, because long before I had a manager, I was doing it by myself. The Suffers, we were doing it ourselves. Even right now, for my solo stuff, I do a lot of my own stuff. I told you what I learned during COVID.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of my flyers. I do a lot of my videos. I film a lot. Like, I'm about to buy another camera, because
Mhm.
that's the vibration I'm on. And when I'm
Yeah.
in, you got to do work you love, right? Um, my team, though, I have team members for the things that make me feel low vibrational. Like,
Yeah.
negotiating does not thrill me. If we're in a
Mhm.
market somewhere, I need somebody with me to
Mhm.
talk to somebody, because I'm not that friend. I'm like, nope,
Mhm.
nope, because they're gonna get me. No, I'm kidding. But
Mhm.
I just don't like negotiating. I just like want to know what it is. Let's keep it going. I have an agent that does that for me. I have a team of agents that do that for me, and they make, I forget what their percentage is, but they deserve every penny, because
Uh-huh.
they make it do what it do.
Yeah.
My management team, um, I have my day-to-day manager. Her name's Meredith, And
Mm-hmm.
we've been together almost, oh my gosh, 7 years.
Long time.
I
Mm-hmm.
know. Um, and she's part of a bigger team of people called Mid Citizen, based in New
Uh-huh.
Orleans, and they earn every penny as well. They help me with a lot of the stuff that is much bigger. Like there's a big difference between a conversation or an interview or a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes really needs me to be present versus someone that's asking for uh, repetitive administrative details,
Yeah.
uh, someone that is negotiating the contracts in and out,
Mm-hmm.
like the back and forth, on
Yeah.
that, the what I'm allowed to do and what I can't do versus like
Mm-hmm.
cussing, not cussing, like things like that.
But okay, for the artists who are listening,
Yeah.
okay, can you explain to them from your POV, your definition, how would you describe the difference between your agent and your manager? Because so many artists really don't understand like the differences and
So
when they may need one or the other.
I will add one more to it and then explain what all of them do.
Mm-hmm.
So Meredith is our day-to-day manager for both me and the Suffers.
Mm-hmm.
We also have a business manager that,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, I have a business manager. Suffers use a bookkeeping service.
Mm-hmm.
The business manager basically handles all things payment for me, making sure that I'm staying on budget, making sure my taxes are done. They get a small percentage of what I get paid so that it's good, right?
Mm-hmm.
My manager handles all of the like where I'm supposed to be at. Like you usually, like if it's not someone that is as close to me as you are, she'll
Mm-hmm.
handle like interview scheduling, podcast scheduling, festival, uh,
Mm-hmm.
dancing. She has people that work under her that assist her. All of our like website, adding the dates, like things that keep me from making art every day.
Yeah.
Things that, and like for me, art can be making music, writing, pre-production, um, sessions, all that kind of stuff. Anything that contributes to me finishing the work, getting
Yeah.
done, and releasing new music. That can be passed on to Meredith. If I'm dealing with any type of issues, like
Yeah.
if people are upset about something, if someone's not being paid fast enough, if I'm not being paid fast enough, um, she can go and follow up and
Uh-huh.
be the mean person for me if
Yeah.
necessary. Not that she's so nice.
Yeah.
Like, everyone on my team is really nice, but like these are the people that allow me to keep focusing on my creative stuff. My
Uh-huh.
agent, the agent teams, they book my shows.
Mm-hmm.
They book my shows and make sure that I'm getting paid what I deserve. They make sure that uh, the venues that they are booking me at have everything that is necessary for a successful show to happen.
Mm-hmm.
The sound, a team, lights, just basic, basic show infrastructure. They check all of that. They make sure that the money is coming from a reputable source. That I'm not just somebody's cousin's whatnot backwoods festival. They make sure that they have all the ways to pay me in advance. That
Mm-hmm.
they sometimes receive it, if it's a certain amount of money, they receive a deposit in advance, and then I go and I pick up the rest of the check and make sure, like just it depends on what it is. Sometimes they just wire it all, but the agency is there to make sure that my shows keep getting bigger. Um,
Mm-hmm.
my manager Meredith, for a long time before she was a manager, was a booking agent, and so
Mm-hmm.
I get a whole other wonderful perspective from
Yeah.
her opinions on stuff. And then myself, long before I had a team, long before I had a manager, I booked my own shows. I promoted
Oh.
myself. My earliest jobs in the industry was working as an intern at KPFT Radio under Matt Sanzala, and just going and flyering everywhere
Uh-huh.
for Red Bull events and just Scion
So,
events.
so when you booked your own shows, your first show that you booked that was
Mhm.
paid? can you just tell them quickly, like, what did you do? How did you say, how much is Kam getting paid today? Like, how was that process for you?
The first show I ever booked myself was in 2005 for my band, my high school ska band called the Blue Lights, and we were opening for the ska band called Streetlight Manifesto, MU330, in Voodoo Glow Skulls, which, if you're not a ska fan, this is a big deal. This is a big
Uh-huh.
deal for a high school band. And I sent an email to the promoter. My band had been doing well, and like we'd been getting a few gigs here and there. But our biggest following that I knew we had was that we were seniors in high school. We were the only band in our little neighborhood in Clear Lake that was playing around. We did like ska, reggae. The songs were okay. They were all
That's so
original, but
cool.
but we were kids, and there were 10 of us. No, were there 10? There were 9 of us, and we were obsessed with traditional reggae, ska, Bob Marley, all that stuff. And we had a bunch of friends who their parents would go out of town and they would throw house parties, and we'd go and perform at the house parties and
Uh-huh.
cafes and stuff. Cafes that always want entertainment, and so we would go, and there was a hookah bar down in League City that he was like always looking for bands, and so we were like, oh, we thought we could play, we want to. And he's like, all right, you got one chance. And I think he gave us like $50 and like some
Uh-huh.
drinks or something, right? And we had an opportunity when I was like, I don't know, 17 or 18, to do a pay for play, which I absolutely hate,
Uh-huh.
at the old Fitzgerald's, where it was you pay $50, and if you can get 50 people in, then you get your
Yeah.
money back and all.
Yeah.
We had like 47 people, and I was
Mhm.
so discouraged, right? Because I was 17, I didn't know anything. I just know I'd lost our $50, and and
Mhm.
I would never forget the promoter at Fitz. Her name was Michelle at the time. She was like, "This is actually really good for a Sunday night. I know you didn't get 50, but this is really good."
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. And I saw that these bands were coming to town, and had read in one of the books about one of these old artists, like just reaching out to the clubs and going.
Uh-huh.
I was too young and I didn't have a car, so I couldn't just go to the club. But
Mhm.
email had just started, right?
Mhm.
The Well had those CDs. So I would get these CDs from all my neighbors, and so I had free internet at my house, and I uh, had remembered that if I'd given my own name, I would sound unprofessional. So I made
Uh-huh.
up a fake name, just some white guy name, Mr. John something. I don't remember what my name was on AOL, but I would email these clubs and tell them, hey, there's this band. They had 46 people on a Sunday night at Fitzgerald's. They'd be a great opener for any ska touring band. They're a bunch of kids. They're just looking for an opportunity. I'm sure we could get it done for under $500. And,
Yeah.
and I could guarantee at least 30 kids, maybe more, with time. And the promoter and me went back and forth, and we're still friends to this day, but we went back and forth, and I think he ended up giving us like $300. And I was like, amazing, like
Oh my God.
17. I was like, we're getting $300. Like, this is like a big deal. And
That's so
then to
cool.
all my friends, I was like, 2 weeks before, is like, y'all have to ask y'all's parents to drive y'all to Houston. I know it's like a lot, but y'all have to come. And my like two of the dudes in my band were single, and like a bunch of the girls were they're in a band, like
Yeah.
whatever. It starts young. So
Yeah.
yes, girl, we're all gonna be performing, and he would love to talk to you. I will gladly, whatever, just like come to the show. I don't care. And we had no merch, we had no CDs, we had nothing. We just had ourselves, and this vision of playing. And yeah, this was Engine Room 2005, before it was like a nightclub, and it
Mhm.
was still a venue. And yeah, we brought, because they made you say who you were coming with at the time.
Yeah.
I want to say we ended up bringing like almost 150 people that night. And the promoter was like, yeah, we should get you on some more shows. And so
Oh.
we ended up linking up with this band Los Carnales, who's been a band for like almost 30 years. And through that connection, I met the guys that I'm in the Suffers with now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really funny and very serendipitous how it all happens that, I was skipping school and going to jam with people that I still
Yeah,
make music with today. And
that's cool.
it's crazy, but I mentioned that, but I also mentioned how necessary the tools that I did learn in school. I was not skipping until like my last semester of senior year, by the way, which is
That's
whatever.
cool. And
But
that's cool. Honestly, that's cool as hell. Like, that's the best story ever. Okay, I know we have to go, but
yes,
really quick, I want to mention your latest show that I went to
yes,
because I thought that was so inspiring to be an independent artist, and you had so many people there
thank you.
on a Sunday night.
Sunday nights are how I test what I can do. It's very scary to play a Sunday, especially in Houston, Texas. Most agents will tell you, don't do it.
Uh-huh.
But I wanted to see what my numbers were, and that we didn't sell it out, which would have been nice. But
Uh-huh.
I was not hard on myself. It was, my thing I always tell myself is if we do more than zero, we did something. And if the ticket sales are more than zero, we did something. And so I think the final count was before our guest list, which was like 20 people. I want to say it was like 136 paid for Sunday for my first ticketed headline show on
Yeah,
a, yeah, I wanted to come correct,
it's
right?
amazing.
So now it opens the door to what my future shows can look like, but it also allows me to be like, hey, I love this model of I'm treating it like a review. Like,
Hmm.
how the old school, when I think about the Temptations or I think about the fictional Five Heartbeats, these
Uh-huh.
school Motown reviews would have multiple artists on one show, the same band, but a bunch of, different singers coming through. And so a lot of my friends, they want to play right now, but they don't have the money to pay
Yeah,
for a band. And I'm like, okay, if I'm headlining, I'm taking that risk on anyway. Like having you
yeah.
on the show is a gift. Like it's a blessing to have y'all cool.
Mhm.
If you want to promote, cool. If you want to bring somebody, cool. But at the end of the day, it's on me as a headliner
Mhm.
for those tickets. However, by inviting my friends to come as openers and my band to learn their music, it allows
Mhm.
me as a new player. I'm still very like this is year 5. Yeah, year
Mhm. Yeah,
playing
yeah.
part. It allows me to play stuff that I wouldn't normally play and learn and get that opportunity to play with these incredible musicians. But also it gives artists like Uncle Tino, who's a rapper producer
Mhm.
based here in Houston, an opportunity to come, even if it's just those 2 songs,
Yeah.
an opportunity to come and show what his music sounds like with a full band the way he intends, rather
Mm.
than being forced to use tracks. I don't discourage the usage of tracks. I don't discourage anybody using loopers or anything like that. I
Mhm.
honestly really hate when artists do that because it's
Yeah.
like, bitch, you're not paying for their band.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
paying for the background singers, are you?
Yeah.
You know? But people are always going to have an opinion on everything. But I just wanted to see what would happen if I gave people a band and they didn't have to think about putting that together.
Yeah. That's
And,
amazing.
and it was a really great experience.
Yeah. It was a beautiful show as always. I'm happy I got to hear a lot of your new music
Thank
and
you.
music that I already loved, that I already knew. So I'm really happy. Can you are you sharing anything about your solo project yet or no?
It's called Land of the Neon Sun. It'll be out next spring.
Yeah. Amazing. Oh my gosh. Thank
Thank
you so much, Cam. This was
you for having
like
me.
even beyond. You're so amazing. Thank you. Yeah, this is amazing. I know a lot of artists are going to learn so much from you and your journey. And I'm just really happy that you get to be that example for them. Because I feel like every song you do, every time you perform, you give your all, and you're just showing up as the best example for all the artists out there in the world to really have someone to look up and say, "Oh, Cam did it. I can too." And I even saw that with people you brought on stage at your last show, where artists were, they didn't have many fans already, but you gave them that courage and that opportunity to come on stage and gain a lot of new fans. And I just really appreciated that a lot. I just saw that. I'm like, wow, she's giving all these artists opportunities, not just taking her own for herself. So thank you so much for what you're doing for the community and how you're advocating. Girl, I have like 100 more questions I can ask you. I'm telling you, we're gonna have to do this again because it's more stuff. It's
Thank
more.
you. No, thank you. No, it's giving me perspective. We'll have to reconnect when I finish this book. And
Yes.
yes, we'll or
Yes.
when the record comes out. It'll be out next year. So
Yes.
good time to
Okay.
visit all of this. Thank you.
Thank